You're listening to the Gag On This podcast.
I see you standing up and I want to knock you down.
Screen. I don't know why the fuck I was going to share the screen to start with.
I don't know.
It's been one of those days, guys, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
All righty. Guess what this is, guys? This is the motherfucking Gag On This podcast. Yeah, didn't even give you a chance to answer. Woo! Woo! Episode description of the show and guest social media. Like and follow us everywhere at @GagOnThis_pod. Subscribe to our YouTube page, hear the episode, and see our beautiful faces 2 days before it's released on podcast platforms. Like what you hear. Please leave a review. Hate what you hear. Go join Madison Cawthorn's re-election bid. Yeah, politics. I am Big Nick. Danni D will not be here. She's doing a show out in Virginia Beach or wherever she is right now. But that doesn't matter because really the people that matter are here. And one of those is co-host of the Stand Up Dads podcast, my Portuguese lover, Rob.
Hello.
No, my Portuguese lover and Portuguese citizen.
Woohoo. It's not official yet, but yeah.
I thought it was. I thought you should.
No, they are sending me papers from Portugal. So when I get them and sign them and take it to the consulate, then it's official. But it's approved.
So you're going to have dual citizenship?
Yeah. So I'll get an EU passport so they won't judge me.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also got host of the Iambic Poetry podcast, vice president, Sacramento Poet Society, all around good guy Sharon.
Going on, everyone.
Hey, and you may have heard that voice if you listen to our fantasy funeral. That is the hilarious Morty, the goddamn mortician.
Hey, hello, everybody. You know, these days I just go by Morty Stein, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. You know, I am a mortician by day, but a lot of my material, I'm kind of shying away from the mortician, the death stuff, and kind of expanding my horizons and being more vulnerable on stage and talking about more personal things, you know?
So what I'm curious, what made you make that transition?
Well, I just decided that I write a ton and I have a lot of material, and I just figured, you know, who actually really wants to sit there and listen to an hour of death and funerals and dead bodies and embalming and stuff like that. But, you know, there's more to me than that. So I just wanted to kind of diversify my material and talk about, you know, other things so I can be a little bit more relatable on stage and talk about things that people can relate to and get to know me a little bit so I can kind of really connect with the audience a lot more.
Yeah, Rob, you and I like the morbid shit, but we are two out of the rest of the audience there. Everybody else does not, I'm assuming.
I don't know. One of my favorite books was The Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, I think it was. It's about some lady working in the...
Caitlin Dowdy.
Yeah. Just the horrific shit she would see every day. And it's interesting as fuck to me. But,
well, you know you're morbid when you're taking an improv class and they tell you you're too morbid. Right, Rob?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, do tell.
Well, they had no fucking sense of humor. I mean, I'm not saying I was any good, but they had no sense of humor. So,
well, yeah, didn't they tell you don't want to do that because then what if the other person doesn't want to get morbid?
Yeah, because I was going too far and you can't go further. So, you know, they wanted me to incrementally go out that way so that other people had a chance. And it's completely correct, but they still had no fucking sense of humor.
So when it comes to improv, you're the Hitler of improv. You took it too far. I got you.
But boy, do those trains run on time.
Oh, Jesus. Well, if we didn't get canceled yet, we're not going to get canceled for that, guys. Come on now. So I do want to, first I want to ask you, are you planning on getting the podcast going again? What's up with that?
Right now I'm going to say no. that we're not going to bring the podcast back. I'm probably going to say it's probably 90% certain that we are not. You probably want to know why, right?
Yeah. That's what that pregnant pause was like. Come on, Morty.
Okay, so we started it a few years ago, pre-pandemic, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for us to be creative and talk to a lot of people and get to know comedians on a personal level and find out a little bit about not only about their comedy and what they do on stage, but what they do off stage and get to know them as a person and stuff. And kind of before the pandemic, I was reading something and there was this article they were talking about the boom of podcasts. And at the time when we were doing it, there was about, I'm trying to remember the number. I think there was like just over 700,000 active podcasts that we were doing. So we were one of 700,000. The pandemic hit. Everything got shut down. We just didn't do it. We just kind of stopped doing it, obviously, because there wasn't really comedians weren't really doing comedy during the pandemic. Everything was shut down. The Zoom hadn't really started yet. So we just kind of said, well, we were going to stop. And then some comedians and some podcasts were actually doing it on Zoom and talking with their guests via Zoom and then downloading it and uploading it to their platforms and stuff. And I enjoyed watching and listening to a lot of those podcasts. And then our co-host, Skip Bacon, called me one day and she says, I really miss doing the podcast and I really miss hanging out with you and talking to you. Let's do it via Zoom. So I said, I don't know. Let me think about it. So I thought, well, let me research it a little bit. I'm really not that tech savvy. So I kind of wanted to research about how to do it on Zoom, how to download it, how to get the audio from Zoom, get it uploaded, or actually get it converted to an MP4 and then get it uploaded to our platform. And then doing some research, it wasn't really that complicated, a lot of trial and error. So we actually did a podcast, just me and her, just to kind of test it out. And it worked out okay. And so she said, well, let's start booking guests. And I said, if we're going to do this, let's do something a little bit different. Let's kind of shoot our wad, so to speak. So what we decided to do, instead of having and talking with local comedians, we kind of branched out and try to get some big names. We got like Marcus Allen. We had comedian Jack Gallagher, who was on HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sacramento King Scott Pollard. We had lined up world champion boxer Tony the Tiger Lopez. We had some comics. We had Tom Cotter, who was the highest finisher of a comic in America's Got Talent. And we had Ryan Niemiller. So we wanted to get some kind of big names going towards it. But then it just kind of fizzled out a little bit. We had a little bit of trouble getting some of the big names that we wanted. They agreed to do it, but they said, you need to contact our agent and get approval. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. But I was like, I don't want to deal with agents or anything like that. And then I was doing some more research again, and I kind of came across another article about podcasts and podcast booms during the pandemic. And then it jumped to like over 1.1 million active podcasts during the pandemic and towards the middle of the pandemic. Looking at our statistics and our numbers, we weren't really doing bigger numbers than we were in the beginning. And as you obviously know, it's a lot of work. Booking the talent, getting the guest on, advertising, editing, it just really consumed a lot of our time. And I figured, if some of these people are big names and still people aren't really listening to it, and our numbers are basically the same pre-pandemic as they were during the pandemic, is it really kind of worth it? So we kind of stopped doing it. We had a couple of guests no show. And it was just kind of like, this is really consuming a lot of our time. I'd rather spend the time writing, doing Zoom comedy shows. I was kind of against it, doing Zoom comedy shows in the beginning, but I just kind of started doing them for networking purposes. So I just kind of went from Zoom podcast to doing Zoom comedy. And so we just decided not to do the podcast anymore. We still have the Podbean account and the platform and stuff like that. But right now, honestly, I'm just not sure if we want to do it again.
So I'm gonna ask you. You used a word there that it takes up our time. Are you telling me your co-host actually assisted with booking and editing and social media and stuff? That is unheard of, isn't it?
She helped with the booking of the guests because we kind of talked.
Damn you! You're so lucky, Morty.
we actually talked about who we wanted, who we didn't want on the podcast. She had some ideas, and I said that would be a good person to have. Do you have a relationship with this person? And she says, yeah, I have their contact information. I follow them on social media. I've reached out to them, and so she's helped out quite a bit as far as like the editing and things like that. Yeah, I did all of that, but she helped promote it and shared it across social media. And she did help and book some guests and came up with some really, really good suggestions on who we should have and who we actually shouldn't have on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember you made a post about how you have a list of people that you want on the podcast and the ones that you will not. And I remember, I think I replied like, I bet you I'm one of the will nots. I bet you it's a short list and I'm number fucking one.
No, actually you were on the list. And I think actually at one point you and I talked about doing like a crossover episode.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we even talked about doing a podcast festival.
A podcast festival. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was kind of because I think that they did one at Stab and stuff, and that was just kind of a joke. Yes, I didn't. They did.
I was part of that joke.
I was too.
We were.
They did one, and then they were going to do another one, and I know like me and a bunch of people submitted, and then the one of the people just kind of quit being part owner and just kind of ran off with everybody's money, and I thought that was just kind of shitty. So.
Agreed.
Which I'll tell you right now, that is the one benefit of Gag On This getting turned down for that podcast festival. Because if you didn't get in, they sent an email saying, since you paid and you didn't get in, forward us this email when the time happens, and you won't have to pay a registration fee.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I didn't know that. So,
well, I mean, we were one of the few that didn't get in. I mean,
their loss.
We were straight up told we had no direction.
We didn't.
Shut up. We totally did.
That's the thing is after that. Well, for a couple episodes, we were like giving Nick the number to suicide prevention.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then after that, he modified the show a little bit to where it had more structure because it was pretty much just us talking about our dicks. And so at some point, it
had a theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old Jesse. I think I still have that email too. Just refer to it every time I'm like close to suicide. Like, let me just read this, push me over the edge to completion. So one thing I do want to ask you about is,
okay.
And I don't think you shy away from this. You are notoriously a clean comedian.
Correct. Yeah. Off stage, I cuss like a sailor, and I have a potty mouth. But on stage, I'm strictly clean. I keep my material. I don't cuss on stage, and I keep my material. I don't talk about sex. I use a couple of innuendos on jokes and stuff, but I shy away from the sex stuff, religion, politics, and things like that. So I kind of keep it really clean, and I'm glad I did because it opens up a hell of a lot more opportunities for me.
Well, we recently had Chip Jones on,
okay.
And one of his advice to new comedians, I'm curious if you agree with this, is write a clean joke first because it's always easier to dirty up a clean joke than it is to clean a dirty joke.
Absolutely. It's very easy for a clean comedian to go dirty than a dirty comedian to go clean. It's just really easy that way to do it. And I know some people that are kind of dark, dirty, R-rated comedians, but they do have like a 5, 10, maybe even a 15-minute clean set. And I think that's really important that they do that.
You're always worried though when they're on stage, like, oh, don't slip, don't slip, don't slip.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not worried about it.
No, I mean, for those guys that you book, the guys that are filthy that have a clean 5.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I'm not worried. I trust them and stuff, and sometimes they'll let out like a shit or something like that, and they'll catch themselves, and that's okay. But I've seen people just kind of turn on stage and just kind of go rogue.
Oh, really? Like just go straight dirty?
And that's just kind of like really shitty. And that I just really have a real issue with that. Yeah, I saw it on a Christmas show at the Punch. It wasn't my show. It was a Christmas show at the Punchline. You remember, God, what was his name? Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's so filthy.
Oh, I know. But he did a holiday theme show, and he co-hosted it with his daughter, who's like 8, 9 years old.
Oh God.
And he made it perfectly clear that he wanted kind of keep it clean. And so he had me and a couple other people that had clean material, and he had some other people, and I was on the show, and I was just kind of like, oh, this I gotta see. And so, but to be completely honest, a couple of people that I had really concerns about did a phenomenal job, and I was really proud of them, and they did a really good job. But one comedian got up on stage, and he started off doing kind of clean, and then he just like in the middle of the set stopped, and he just says, "Fuck it, I can't do clean. I got to be true to myself." And he just went into dick jokes and things like that. But here's how it really backfired on him. After the show, the manager of the Punchline pulled him aside and said, "Hey, I kind of get it. I understand. Yeah, you have to be true to yourself. And, you had a tough time being clean and you couldn't do it. So in the middle of your set, you changed it up." He goes, "You said to be true to yourself. That I get. However, you were booked on this show because it was a clean show. You disrespected the producer. You disrespected his daughter. You disrespected me. You disrespected my club. You will never perform at the Punchline again."
Holy fuck. Jesus.
I mean,
So you go rogue and you shoot yourself in the foot.
I get it. I mean, it's a little harsh, true, but yeah.
It's funny because Frank was one of the filthiest guys. It's just you couldn't understand what he was saying.
Well, I know, right?
Well,
It's like, did he just say blah, blah, blah? I think so.
my thing with
his songs were hysterical,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they were so dirty.
my thing with Frank, though, and I never could like, I never got the sense that, well, I shouldn't say I never got, but I rarely got the sense that people were laughing with him or at him. Because like some of the stuff,
Yeah, right.
no, I know he didn't care, but it just seemed weird that people were just like, "Oh, look at the crazy Asian with a guitar."
Isn't he living now in the Florida region or South?
He's in LA, I think.
He's in LA. He moved down to LA probably right before the pandemic, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
A dentist by trade, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So that would be weird.
Well, Sharon, you're putting on shows now. Would you?
Yeah.
If someone went rogue, would you kind of have the same reaction of like, "Look, this is what we booked you for"?
Well, it all depends on what the limitations are already put into place. I mean, if you go to a poetry show and you kind of tell them, okay, these people who don't want to hear this, and this, just you can use everything else, but these 3 things can't be, and they just feel like, well, I'm going to say it anyway. You kind of have to look at yourself and go, okay, well, I just told you that. What was the part that you didn't get? Well, I mean, it's not like you take their money from them and it's like you can't get that money now because you screwed yourself, Because I've seen shows where they've gone bad And sure enough, the person will walk up to me or someone else, walk up the stage and go, "Okay, you're done. Get off." Because we can't, we're not gonna hurt ourselves for their for their benefit. It's not gonna make it any better for the next person.
Yeah.
I remember having to do. I was getting ready to go up, but the first person before me, she did a rape poem.
Oh,
so I had to figure out how to get out of that situation. It's like she did a rape poem, and I was like, and this was over at when Speak Out Sacramento was going on. And, everybody's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm just like, that ain't good for me. So sure enough, I had to make a few chuckles before, and if I do my little side joke poems and stuff, and they just like, how'd you feel about that rape poem? It's like, oh yeah. I mean, I've even said my stuff at a women's rally place, and I'm thinking, why the heck am I at a women's rally? I'm a male. They're gonna look at me funny. It's like, oh, you gonna tell your little lover thing that you did? That doesn't work here. All right. Sure enough. So it is read the room. Yeah.
I could never do that. I could never read the room. I just went fucking full ham. And it never turned out good. So you do a lot of corporate gigs. So I'm assuming it pays to be clean for corporate, correct?
Absolutely. I'm pretty much right now. That's pretty much all that I do is corporate work now. Don't really do club work. I don't get booked for club work anymore. I just strictly had an opportunity presented to me, and I basically strictly. That's why I don't really post anything online about shows coming up. I got a couple of things coming up that I do, but that are public events, but primarily private corporate events. And that's very lucrative. They're great to do. They want clean, so I'm not going to offend anybody. And I'm so glad that I got into this. Man, it's been a great ride so far.
So is it like a circuit, like a college circuit? Or do you for corporate gigs, or do they have like agencies like lined up saying, okay, we got these comics lined up for these gigs and for this circuit? You basically like have a circuit, like you got one this month, next month, and stuff like that? Or
yeah, I'm booked almost every weekend. Usually every Friday and Saturday night, I have a corporate gig booked. During the week, I usually do one or two. I kind of got into a niche market of doing high-end assisted living facilities. And I do those during the week, which are great. They pay okay, but they're great because I'm clean. I have the material for it. They're usually midweek, like 3-4 in the afternoon. I kind of treat those like paid open mics because I try out new material, and the crowds are usually pretty good. Usually when I do like an assisted living facility, there's like 30 to 40 people to do it. But to answer your question about like the circuit, I actually have an agent that books my all my corporate gigs, my high-end corporate gigs. I showcased for him in LA back in December, and that's how we met. And I'm on a 6-month trial contract because he's fairly new to the agent game with comedians. He primarily does actors and musicians, but he's getting into comedians. And so so far I like it because he kind of lets me book things on my own. So if I have things coming up, I just let him know in advance, hey, this week don't book me for anything, and which is great. But probably as his agency and he gets busier and stuff, that'll probably change, especially as I sign something long term with him. But he books a lot of the stuff for me, and it's great because I'm guaranteed pay, and the shows are really good, and he keeps me informed, and he does all the legwork for me. He does the emails and the interviews with the clients about what they want, what they don't want. He's very good about, sometimes you'll get these corporate events where the event planner will say, hey, at some point, this is our CEO or this is our chief financial officer. Hey, can you do some roasting on him? And he's really good. Say, that's not what Morty does. He's not going to do that. He's not going to offend anybody. You just have to trust what he does.
Ever give out business cards for the mortician stuff at the assisted living places?
Hey, I was born at night, but not last night.
You don't even have to give them out. You can just leave them.
I'll see you later.
Yeah. The memory care facilities are the best one because I could do like 5 minutes and stuff, and I can look around and I go, okay, well, I can just repeat that 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
This guy is funny. Yeah, you said that 3 minutes ago when you said the same joke.
No, right?
That's my son up there.
So
You're hit at the Hyatt,
Yeah.
at the hospice.
so I mean, if you're doing corporate, then I assume, I mean, it makes an ass of you and me, but I assume that on the horizon is you're going to be able to do this full time because from what I hear, corporate pays fucking well.
Oh, very well. Very well. Just to give you an example, not to brag or anything, but one of the first
I pulled $1 million last year.
it's nothing like that. But one of the first corporate gigs that he booked for me was a private event for an organization in Brentwood, California, in the Bay Area. 45 minutes, $2,500.
Holy fuck me, dude.
Yeah. All my corporate, on average, though, all my corporate events, they start at about 1,100. And that's just for basically coming in for 30 to 45 minutes, just coming in, performing, and leaving.
See, that's the part that cracks me up. How can people have problems not having clean stuff if they're getting paid that much? They're like, no, I got to be true to myself. I'm like, truth.
Does some people struggle with it? I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, I started out from day one being clean, and I knew when I got into this that I was going to be clean because that just kind of fits my personality. I'm older. My stories aren't going to resonate with the younger crowd. So, having somebody like me that's 61 years old going out and talking about banging my wife or how big my dick is or things like that. I've been married for almost 35 years. So, I don't have Tinder dating jokes and things like that. So I have to kind of talk about me and my family and growing up and being the baby of the family and how I met my wife and how when we got married, how I screwed up my wedding vows and things like that. So I kind of take them on a journey, and I talk about my day job, a little bit, and it kind of flows into it. So I kind of go in, I go out of it. I talk about like when I met my wife, how I was going to mortuary school, and when I met her, and so it kind of goes in and out of it a little bit, so they kind of get to know me. So my goal when I doing an hour, I usually start off by just starting off with something, like addressing, what's going on in the pandemic, how I handled the pandemic in the beginning. And then I kind of take them on this journey, where I get so they can kind of get to know me and where I'm coming from and who I am, where I was born and raised. I usually start off after I do the opening 5 to 7 minutes about, what I did during the pandemic and some funny things that happened. I just say, to reintroduce myself. My name is Morty Stein. I'm 61 years old, born and raised in Sacramento, and I'm the baby of the family. And then bam, I just go right into it. I just go right into my stories and stuff. And I take them on this journey that kind of starts from here and then they just takes them straight across and until I wrap it up an hour later.
What did you do to screw up your vows?
I said the wrong thing. What I heard and what came out of my mouth was two different things.
I still get grief from mine because when Mike, actually my co-host, he married us. Said, do you Rob take Kim? And I flipped a coin in front of everybody. She did not think that was funny.
No, what happened to me was during the vows, the pastor said during the ring ceremony, he says, repeat after me. With this ring, I thee wed, and with all my earthly goods, I thee endow. And what came out of my mouth was, with this ring, I thee wed, and with all my earthly goods, I be endowed.
Nice.
So I joke about how all the bridesmaids high-fived and my groomsmen were fist pumping me and
That's a mouthful. Like he should have ended it with, with this ring, I thee wed, and then you say that's anybody would fuck that up.
Always assume people are morons.
But I mean, let's not, sweep this under the rug. Rob, you literally flipped a fucking coin.
Yeah.
Did she know you were going to do that?
No, I didn't know.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I just thought, why not?
Oh, you asshole.
Why not?
Yeah. So she was not pleased at all.
Did you put up heads? Did you call out one of the?
I don't even know what it came up as. I was going to say, yeah, either way. It was just for the,
just for the ball busting.
Yeah. And it was a distraction because I remember Mike's nose hair was so damn long. We both of us, Kim and I both were just staring at him as he breathed. It would go in and out and in and out. Didn't hear a word he said, but.
So I got one last question, then we'll get to our ultra popular thing. And then we are going to get to something that I think everyone will enjoy because it is a fucking train wreck. All right. So since you've last been on, Morty, we have had numerous producers on the show and they've explained the producing aspect. So I'm curious. We had one producer, and in fact, Sharon actually seconded this. When you're putting a show, do you go like this person's first? Okay, who's a good person to follow this person? And then who's good to follow this person? This is my closer. Who's good before them? Is it that specific?
I book when I book my shows, especially, and I'm going to use the Lake Wildwood shows that I do here at Lake Wildwood as an example. So what I do first is I book my headliner first. And I lock in my headliner. Then I kind of look at my list and I try to figure out who would be a great complement to the headliner, who would actually do really well, that has kind of similar styles, different stories. So they're not kind of intersecting stories, but they're kind of similar stage presence, demeanor, things like that. And then I book the host, and the host I think is also really important because they're the ones that are going to come up first. They're going to set the tone. They're going to get the crowd pumped up, and they set the tone for basically the whole show. So I need somebody that not only clean, that's got experience, that has a lot of energy, that can really pump the crowd up, and then do their material and have, 10 minutes of just solid laughs, and then bring the feature up. And then it kind of just goes from there. But I book my headliner first, then my feature, and then my host. So I kind of doing it backwards in a way.
Okay. So you're not, I thought you hosted the Lake Wildwoods.
No, on occasion, usually, let's see. So the last full year, which would be 2019, the last full year, I didn't even perform at all. 2018, I think I hosted 2. This year, I featured in January, and then I hosted in March. But when I hosted, I did like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I did 2 minutes. And so what I do is I'm trying to bring some more hosts because I've actually got a wider net of clean comedians. And so there's a lot more clean comedians, and there's actually a lot more comedians that are writing clean stuff. So even though there's a lot of R-rated comics, some of those R-rated comics have got 10 to 15 minutes of clean material. And so they send me videos. I talk with them. I actually vet my comedians. Even if I've worked with them and haven't worked with them before, I ask them to, if I haven't worked with them before, I ask them to send a clean video. So I want to see their clean set. And so I look at their video, and then we kind of go through their social media, see what kind of person they are,
Oh, so all right, hypothetically, this is completely hypothetical.
Here we go.
I come to you and I'm like, hey, I can do a clean set. Based on what you've seen on my Twitter, would you be like, no?
No, I wouldn't say that. If you came to me and said, hey, Morty, I've been working on a clean set. I've got, I'm not really a clean comic, but I've been working on clean material. I'd say, great, congratulations. Go at next time you do a clean set. I want you to film it and send it to me.
But I'm saying, if you were to vet me after that point, would you be like, I don't know, this guy's a little too risque?
No. See, here's why I vet the comedians. I've worked with this one comedian a couple of different times. He's solid. He's just amazing. He's super funny, super experienced. He's just hysterical on stage. But you go through his social media, he's just angry and mean and confrontational. And it's like, do I want to have somebody like that on my show? I worked with him on his show, and it wasn't anything that I produced. I was the feature, he was the headliner, and there was a guest and a host. And when I arrived, we kind of sat and all had something to eat and we're talking before, and he was just like really pissed off, about every little thing. And then even during his set, he was crushing. He was doing really well. And I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'm going to use this as an example. He said a joke and he hit the punchline, and somebody in the crowd went, oh, that was really funny. A beach ball, and he went, yeah, it was a fucking beach ball. Shut up.
Jesus.
And then it just kind of dawned on me. Yeah, his social media. He's just angry and confrontational, and he's in a bad mood. Do I want to bring him to Lake Wildwood? Fuck no. Because Lake Wildwood, I have a reputation of Lake Wildwood. We've done 16 shows. The last 15 have sold out. They look forward to these things. The last show, the show that's coming up on Saturday, sold out in 90 minutes.
Jeez,
and so people, we have really good comedians and really good talent that come here. So they're expecting a really good show. And if things go awry at the end of the day, I live here. So, and they know me and they know I put on the show. So if something goes awry, they're not going to go to the food and beverage manager. They're not going to go to the GM. They're going to come to me because they know I'm the one that puts this on.
Then your house is going to get toilet papered and egged. You don't want that.
Not that. No, I don't want that. Because, man, I don't want my wife going out there and cleaning all the toilet paper off the trees and shit.
Sorry, honey. I got a corporate gig. You can handle this.
I got to go make the bacon.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody have anything else before we move on to our cool thing?
So speaking of which, since you talk about Lake Wildwood, because I live in the Grass Valley area.
Yeah. Remember you mentioning that.
Yes. I always wonder, because I do notice that the comics here in Grass Valley or Nevada City, they're kind of in a, I think I'll say, separate way of thinking, way of the little group of people that just do comedy at the Miners Foundry and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Are you mostly looking into comics in Nevada County, or mostly comics like mostly in Sacramento and stuff?
I'm looking for the best talent. If they're in Nevada County, if they're in Sacramento, we get a lot from the Bay Area. We've had a couple people from LA coming up in August. We got a Vegas, actually July and August, we got Vegas comedians coming up.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just looking for the best talent that I can get. I don't really care where they're coming from or where they're based out of. If they're willing to come, I mean, we pay them well, so it's worth. So we make it worth their while if they're going to come up from LA. Yeah, we make it worth their while.
There you go.
I thought Sharon was just going to be like, "There's the people in Grass Valley, the comics, they're they're racist." They're
just
Trump
saying,
lovers.
put me on your show. But
I know of
a couple racists.
But there's also Lake of the Pines too. So
Right.
So with those type of shows, are they mostly like kind of cocktail mingle type shows? 'Cause I mean, I know I got a country club up here in Alta Sierra where they kind of more go on a cocktail, roast the people, kind of walk around, talk and chuckle with people and stuff. Is it kind of that way, or you mostly try to keep? No, this is a stage. You stay out there, and this is how we're going to do it. So.
We have it set up in our clubhouse. We have a banquet room and we have a stage. We have a state-of-the-art sound and lighting system. We have a sound engineer. We have it's seated. So we have rows of seats for up to 250 people, and it sells out. And so it's kind of theater style, not bar type. We don't do it in the bar at all. We do it in the theater because it just packs them in.
Golf clap.
I'll take my bow now.
For the audio listeners, he was clapping. All right. So, Morty, have you listened to the podcast recently?
No, I have not. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think we had it when you were on. Well, we do this ultra popular thing called Inside the Comic Studio.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Yes. Before we do that,
Came about after Stab shot him down.
This is our structure. You had to dig that
This
in
is
there.
what it's about. This is Nick's therapy.
Yeah.
Oh no, my therapy was the episodes where I legitimately talked about suicide all day, all episode. It was bad. What was I gonna go? Where was I? Oh yes. Before we do that, Morty, plug social media, plug any shows you got coming up. This comes out Saturday at 9 a.m. on YouTube, and then Monday 6 a.m. on podcast platforms.
Okay, so my social media, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram. I have, the Facebook and Twitter, but I don't really know how it works. I don't really have a whole lot of engagement on there. Instagram is just fun. I really like doing it. I have a website, mortystein.com, that has my bio, has a demo video, has all my show dates, and contact information. If you want to book me for a show, whether public or private, you can book me through the website or get in touch with me there. Upcoming shows this Saturday, the 21st, we have another show at Lake Wildwood, headlined by Paul Conyers from the Bay Area. He'll be our headliner. And then public, I have like just a ton of corporate stuff coming up. Public, I think I'm doing a show that I produce called OK Boomer on June 17th at the Comedy Spot. And then probably in the fall or the spring, we're going to be doing an OK Boomer theater tour. So we'll be doing some small 150 seat theaters throughout Northern California. And let's see. And then also in July, I'm doing a show with one of my favorite comedians, Gina Stahlhaven. We're going to be doing a show together at the Yuba Sutter Center for the Arts in Yuba City. That's in July. And but yeah, just go to my website and it has all my show dates and information and stuff like that.
All right, and there'll be a link in the show notes for his website as well. Don't you want to plug your TikTok? Are you still doing that?
I still do my TikTok. That's death related. But I have that's the biggest engagement that I have. So I have a TikTok where I talk about my day job and I answer people's questions about death funerals and death care. It's called Funeral Home Confessions. I have 182,000 followers and I post pretty much every day. I answer people's questions because people are just curious to know about the afterlife and what goes on at a funeral home.
Robert.
Get my side project, Stand Up Dad's podcast. I do that with my buddy Mike, the guy who married me with long nose hair. We talk about parenting, throw in some dick jokes. Apparently I should start working on some clean material.
You should just get back up there, buddy.
Yeah, let me watch your fucking kids tour. We're on a brief hiatus, not so brief, but it looks like that's going to be ending soon. So in the meantime, we've got over 140 episodes. Go check it out.
Nice. Sure, Ron.
You can check me out on Iambic Poetry Podcast. I also am a podcast producer. Could have called me Morty to take care of all your podcasts.
I'll get your contact information.
It's all good. And next show that is coming up, What's So Funny with Poetry, is in June 20th over at Stab Comedy Theater. Check it out. Keep it going.
Nice. I will not be working on clean material because I will not be going on stage anytime soon. Mainly because this podcast is my baby. It warms my cockles. That's what it does. Big Nick at the Big Nick J on Twitter. It is popping over there. Not getting into any more fights. I found if I don't post anything political, it's all good. Imagine that.
Must be a
What a thought.
There's your clean material right there.
Right.
No, I mean, the shit that, like, I just posted a picture of a rubber ball yesterday and I was like, I can smell and hear this. And that thing just took the fuck off. Random shit that I'm like, why would this do anything?
I saw that and I thought the same thing. Oh my God, I can smell and I can hear that ball.
Yeah. And then somebody's like, and I can feel it. And I was like, fuck, I should have put that in there. It's the worst when the replies are funnier than the tweet itself. It pisses me off. Let's see. At Rad Chick Forever is Danni D stuff. She's over in Tennessee by the time this comes out. So if you're over there, check her out. She'll be in Minor Hill visiting David Thorne's mother.
That's awesome.
We have merch. Click down there for merch. I got to add another logo to it, but pretty much all the stuff you see behind me, or for the audience listeners, it's good. It's good. Whatever. This is a horrible plug. Fantasy-funeral.com.
Yes.
Please go there. Rob is showing us his belt that he won last year, and you know what? It's looking like he's gonna fucking win again.
Just put it on now, Rob. We concede.
Fucking
Morty,
I
why
don't
are you not
concede.
winning? I thought you'd be
Because
going
Rob's
second.
killing everybody.
It's
not
only
contender.
3 guys.
Well, no. One of them
Rob's got all
50
these
fucking
obscure
points.
SOBs that are dead.
Yeah.
Amazing Jonathan is not obscure.
No, but your fucking rugby player,
Amazing job.
Yeah, the rugby player. It's like,
Not obscure if you watch rugby.
which nobody does.
yeah, all the 3 people that do.
Yeah.
Robert Durst was not a obscure guy.
Yeah.
Who?
Robert Durst,
Durst.
he killed
yeah.
2 of his wives.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, that's my 3.
But Eric Clapton tested positive
He's
for
got
COVID.
COVID.
So
Mhm.
Mike may get the extra 19 bonus
I
points.
Yeah.
We'll see how this play out.
Me, you know what? Tim Curry, come on, buddy. Just take that wheelchair down some stairs for me, please.
Oh, that hurts.
I know. He's a treasure. I shouldn't say that. But I also picked Goldie Hawn. She's a fucking treasure too. So
Yeah.
whatever. All right. So Morty, inside the comic studio is something where we ask all comedians the same 5 questions.
Okay.
First question, first joke that landed well.
First joke that landed well. I'm going to say it was the first joke I ever wrote and the first joke I ever told at my stand-up graduation. It was, I wrote it like in 2004, true story. A guy came through our funeral home that died of an overdose of Viagra. And I looked at the guy next to me who was an apprentice embalmer and I went, oh yeah, we better embalm him good because I'm sure it's going to be an open casket.
All right, next question. Favorite thing about the local comedy scene?
Favorite thing about the local comedy scene? It seems like, well, I'm not really involved in the scene that much anymore, but it seems like there's like a ton of new comics coming up. A lot of them are crushing it. You see them all over the place. So there's a lot of up and coming people, and looks like they're getting opportunities. And you hear and see about them going to open mics and writing stuff and getting on shows and stuff. So to me, the more the merrier. Go get it, guys.
All right, now the exact opposite. One thing you dislike or would like to see changed in the local scene.
Well, just like any scene, there's clicks. So that's going to happen anywhere you go. Other things that I dislike. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of shows and there's a lot of people producing shows, but it seems like it's just there's just the same 10 people on every single show. There's just so many. I mean, I see flyers all the time on social media, and it's just like the same people on all these different shows, even they're different producers and stuff. And it's like, there's just so many good comedians that have been out there that are grinding it. Why aren't they on these shows? Are these producers booking their friends? Branch out a little bit, give more opportunities and be diverse with your comedians and stuff, and pay them well. Pay them well.
Yeah, you hear that, producer? Stop booking Danni fucking D. I'm gonna hear
Morty, since you basically have kind of changed. Instead of you going on the road, you kind of, going all the time being in the circuit, you kind of took your own lane and actually now produce your own shows, do corporate gigs. You kind of changed your direction, then going I know you went the normal route, but now you kind of made your own lane. How do you feel about that?
I think it's important that, that as a comedian, you should find your lane, find out who you want to be, find your voice, and find out what you want to do. You should set goals for yourself, and you should figure out what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this? And don't let anything or anybody get in your way when you do it. So you just got to kind of go for it a little bit. I set goals for myself. I have a writing partner that we write every week. So I constantly have new ideas. I'm accountable, to him. So it makes me accountable. I have to write, and I have to come up with ideas and premises, and I have to actually do it. And I know what I want. I know what I want to get out of this, and nobody's gonna stop me. Nobody's gonna stop me. Nobody can.
Nick.
All right, last question. Sort of deviated there. Thank you, Sharon. Last question. Advice to new comedians.
Oh, boy, where do I begin?
You just gave it.
Well,
I guess. Thanks for stealing my thunder, Sharon.
Okay, so I would say advice to new comedians. Some of it I touched on, but write all the time. Be original. Tell stories and tell jokes that only you can tell. Did you guys ever see that Comedy Store documentary on Showtime?
No.
There was a great part in there where they were talking about the potluck, which was the open mic that they do at the potluck, and the booker was there, and they interviewed the booker, and they said, for potluck, for the open mic, what we're looking for is people with original ideas and things that are people that are thinking outside of the box. And so the first comedian gets up there, and it was a female, and she says, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. Glad you came here. I just recently went on a Tinder date." And then the booker rolls his eyes and scratches his name off the list and goes, "Next."
Wow.
Damn.
Because like you go to an open mic and there's 25 comedians and you'll hear 20 Tinder jokes. Find your lane, find something that's unique about you, and find a story and a joke that only you can tell. You got to write all the time. During the pandemic was a perfect opportunity for you to write new material, and because all the clubs were closed, nobody was doing shows. So, if you came out of this pandemic and if you don't have at least a new 10 minutes out of it, just quit. You just got, it sounds harsh and I'm sorry, but you just got to write. And then, other advice I can give, like I said, telling Sharon, find your lane, set goals for yourself and don't let anybody distract you from that. You just got to figure out who you are, what you want to get out of this, and just put your foot on the throttle and go.
All right. That is it for Inside the Comic Studio. Before we get to our random topic, I do want to plug our guest next week, Nate Owens, Atlanta comedian. And then June is going to be podcast month again. Woo! Woo! Yeah, thank you for being excited, guys. Appreciate it.
What? Where's that? Give that audio file.
We got Pixie from Next on Stage One podcast, former stripper. Well, I think she's a current stripper too. Now, at least again. We're gonna have Cheap Seats podcast come on, talk about movies. They are good guys. After that, we got the Delvin Cox experience. He is an interesting dude. And after that, I think I have 2 spots that I have yet to fill. Because I'm the only one that books on here, right, guys? Right.
You don't sound bitter at all, Nick.
I was going to say, Rob books. He'll be like, "So I booked Mike," and I'll be like, "We fucking had him on."
I booked this guy I saw outside the store.
Yeah.
Was
He
it
goes
Mike?
by Crazy Larry, but I think his name is Steve or something. I don't know.
Ooh, you know what? Actually, I did meet a guy named 50. He calls himself 5150. He'd be a good guest. I don't think he does comedy, but
His life is a comedy.
exactly.
It's a Greek tragedy. Okay. So, does the name Norm Pattis ring a bell for anyone?
No.
Doesn't ring a bell for me. No.
No.
Norm
Does the name
Pattis?
Alex Jones
Yeah.
mean anything to you?
Gay
Sounds
frogs.
familiar?
Yeah, gay frogs, fluoride. You know, Sharon, you still don't know who Alex Jones is? The Sandy
Turning
Hook?
the frogs gay.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook was fake.
There's a democratic cabal that's just eating little babies and they're trying to take over the world from the New World Order.
Keep it going. What?
I was just kidding. Now
So
that you're
I'm trying to
suing
get
me,
to
I
the
was just
point.
kidding.
All right. So Alex Jones is part of, what is it? Breitbart News. He does InfoWars.
Okay.
You know InfoWars.
Okay,
Right?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
All right. So the lawyer that tried to defend him for the Sandy Hook thing is Norm Pattis. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because Norm Pattis is an aspiring comedian, guys. Ooh.
That's a surprise.
Oh,
If my
and-
client can be a joke, so can I.
all right. Let me share this bad boy. All right. So first of all, I came across this because apparently Alex Jones is back on Twitter. They allowed him on. So I was just looking at that. He brought up his, attorney or whatever. I Googled the name and this popped up. It is a YouTube video called Norm Pattis is Not Funny. So apparently he was at I think it's a comedy competition because there's judges.
Okay.
There's going to be 2 things we're going to listen to. First, this is how he opens his set. So let's just take a listen in.
And and I'm in love with you, but I'm going to have to play a musical instrument now here myself because there's no way a comic could advance. Excuse me.
So for the audio listeners, he just took his pants off. Which, by the way, let me just move this back.
He's
just
wearing
a
like
skosh.
swim trunks.
He is wearing like.
I know. It looks like he's
some
wearing
short shorts.
This
wearing
chick
swim pants.
is not having any of it, guys.
No.
No.
Like,
Excuse me.
look at her just like step back, like, oh, what the fuck is he gonna do?
No, okay, never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
So, first of all, kudos for the attempt, sir. That was great. Hey, I'm not about to take my pants off on stage. All right, so this whole set is about basically wokeism and things you cannot say. But let's get to the juicy part.
I mean, conservative comedy is not funny usually.
Yeah. So keep in mind the person I pointed out, okay? Make sure you stay on her face.
But all that, and then there is the matter of race.
Don't forget
And-
Q.
What's that?
Q.
Oh, QU. Yeah.
So somebody just said, don't forget Q, because he's also a big QAnon nut.
You got something you want to tell me? When you go to the bathroom, which way? Where do you stand, sit, stand on your head? What do you do? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what the hell I am. But anyhow, the N-word, right? Can I say the N-word? I guess not. I'm gonna give you.
Sharon, let me ask you, can he say the N-word?
Hell no.
Are his pants still down, by the way?
Yes, his pants,
His pants
down
are still down.
the whole time.
So he's trying to do a Bert Kreischer.
He's
I
not
guess.
even doing it that good. Even Bert took off his shirt.
Which, by the way, this chick's face is just golden. Like,
She is not having it.
no.
Beat up in the parking lot. But I'm going to try. Ready? Ready? Ready?
Look at the dagger she's giving him right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Young
say
black
like
woman
this.
not looking happy. But she looks like she's like listening to
negotiation.
she looks like she's listening to like a lecture.
By the way, this meth out.
one's, and this lady, she's playing on her phone, and you can look at the audience. None of them are even paying attention to him.
Well, except methed out granny right here.
Yeah, methed out granny, and then then she's giving him the evil eye, which I don't blame her one bit.
What I think is funny is he's getting laughs. Like, this should just be awkward as fuck.
It
It
is.
is.
Norman! No, that's me. I mean, everybody knows his name after that goofy motherfucker in Psycho, Norman Bates. I mean, God almighty.
By the way, if you're new to comedy, just watch this and you will feel so much better about the comedy
Yeah.
that you're attempting.
So hold up. So I'm looking at the lady next to the black lady in the plaid.
Right
Was
here.
she eating like was she eating like a candy bar or something?
Something.
Put something in her mouth. I thought it was a cell phone for a second. Then I was like, wait a minute, is that a candy bar?
Or a soda. She may just be biting it like, oh, this is so awkward. I have to do something. But it gets worse, guys.
Oh boy.
No, thank you.
She's vaping.
No. Yes, you are.
He's looking right at her.
Yep. Well, yeah, she's not enjoying herself.
So Morty, would you sign this guy?
No, he couldn't get past the vetting process.
No, Morty, I think you're supposed to reply. No.
Now, would you prepare him for a casket?
I'd want to cremate and burn this SOB.
Oh. Wow.
Negotiable.
I knew that. See, I knew that.
Man, I don't know what I'm going to do, especially since I forgot the third riff in that. It was the build up for all of this thing. So I guess
The fact that he wrote this is hilarious. Like, I forgot the buildup.
Yeah.
the bottom line, people, is you just can't say certain words. They're off limits. And one of those words is nigger.
Dropped the hard R.
So, did someone say what the fuck?
Let us go back.
And one of those words is nigger. Come and get it. Come and get it. Come and get it.
Basically, someone said, watch your fucking mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
I was like 1, 2. Yeah.
that's what being the lawyer for Alex Jones will get you. It'll get you 10 minutes on stage.
And the shitty thing is, I'm pretty sure I've heard that joke elsewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
For what it's worth.
I called it out.
So, yeah. I don't know. That
I mean, should we end on something positive? Like, should we talk about how Carmen Electra's on OnlyFans, guys?
yay.
Ooh,
And
Well, you
she's
can
looking pretty
you can
good.
find that stuff for free though.
Yeah, but not
That's a,
not 50.
I just said that to Nick. I was like, I would never pay for it, but I'm glad it's out there.
I would never pay for it. That was sad.
Well, I mean, did you ever think when you were younger you'd be paying to see a 50-year-old lady naked? Unless you're into that.
You know?
I mean, look at that. For 50,
Well, how old is that picture?
I mean, I'm assuming 50.
Really?
Star
Okay.
50.
All right, fine. Let's look it up.
I mean,
Norm
well, it's kind of
Pattis.
like, fuck, what was Elizabeth Hurley?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He still looks great at like
Mm-hmm.
almost 60.
Please don't be nude.
60.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God. I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like the ones down, shoot, like the one on, that's probably her at 50.
Here's my thing. So if you kind of are above the age where your constituents that are younger than you, like in their 20s and 30s, are getting more high praise, why would you want to keep on trying to dress like them?
But she still can make money at it.
Dude, she has a body like Carmen Electra. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
although, let's see. She teases that her profile, which launches Wednesday, so yesterday, will include beauty tutorials, boo, vacation content, boo, swimwear, all right, lingerie photos, yay, as well as more sexy, classy pictures and videos, while allowing her to be a little bit more intimate with her fans in one-on-one interactions. Hey, yo. If she wants to show a little bit more, she won't have to censor herself. Anything risque with the strategically placed heart or star emojis, as she's had to do on Instagram. All right, let's pull that up.
She hid behind.
What was her? What was?
I mean, because these are going to be, so 50. That's her at 50.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't know about that. That's a weird one.
That is a weird one.
What's an interesting tattoo?
What the fuck?
Eating ice cream and the Pink Panther is, I don't get it.
All right. Let's ask this then. Before we end, let's ask this. Is there any person, celebrity, not family, celebrity, you guys would get a tattoo of on your body?
Oh,
No.
None.
no.
Even my kids, I wouldn't go. I'm like, I know I love you, you're part of me, but I still can't put a tattoo on you. I had to explain that. It's like, well, why is Seneca on you? Is she your last girlfriend or wife? Like, no, it's my daughter, fool.
That's my daughter, fool. All right, yeah. I'm not about to pay for her OnlyFans, but I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my wife's name tattooed on me, but I wouldn't get her picture tattooed. I mean, because if something happened and she died, the next weekend I'm going to be single again. So it's kind of a turnoff.
Wow.
Like, it's easier to get her name removed.
All right, Mrs. Stein. He's going to give you a whole week of mourning.
Before 5 days max. That's all you get for bereavement leave at work is 5 days. So
it's like, hey, after the wake, let's go hang out.
All right,
what are you
guys.
doing after the burial?
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, I just got to deal with this real quick, and then I'll be over there.
Okay, I'm adding your wife to the death pool.
If anything, Morty hits her.
So wrong.
Oh, thank God she's on a cruise and can't hear this.
And don't worry, Morty. This will not be the clip. I'm not.
No.
All right. Well, this was fun, Morty. Thank you.
This was a great.
coming
Thank you for
on.
having me on.
Everybody else, stay safe.
See ya.
Take care.